Once again, I point out to you that it represents something that is all too rapidly disappearing from D.C., and that's the material black history. Almost every day, brick by brick and yard by yard, the material culture, the history of African Americans in the District of Columbia is disappearing.
You know, one of the interesting things here is that they're going to be doing one on Woodlawn Cemetery, and I was just so fascinated when I was downstairs because I've been trying to get Channel 7 to do something on Woodlawn Cemetery, but you know, it wasn't that interesting. I mean, you know, seeing headstones here and there, and they just said, nah. But you know, I said, you have given me a reason to sort of sell it again, because they've got kids now that are going to be doing a play on it. I think, well, maybe I can do that. We can go out and shoot that. So watch Channel 7. You may see a play, a story on the play in the cemetery.
I'd like Woodlawn to be a place for our youth, our future leaders of tomorrow. I want young people to know that the sky's the limit and that our ancestors can show us the way.
It's important to know our history and why things are the way they are. Back in the day, yellow fever, people would fall in a coma and be like they're dead. And doctors wore these thick leather gloves to protect themselves from the disease. So a coma felt as good as dead. And so many in a coma were thought to be dead, so they buried them. Eventually, enough coffins were dug up later with fingernail marks in them. They had tried to dig their way out. That being buried alive was a real threat. So folks with enough money started making sure that their coffins came with bells and strings down into their coffin, so that if they were ever buried alive, they could ring that bell for help. And men would work the graveyard shift. Now that meant walking the graveyard all night with a lantern and shovel, just waiting and listening for that bell. And if you heard it, you ran toward it and you dug. You dug to save a life. Saved by the bell. Graveyard shift. That's where those terms come from.